Oh, Christmas was always the best at our house. We had a great big living room, and so a lot of the ward parties were held at our house. And back in those days, people didn't put up their Christmas trees early, but the Richardsons did. My mom, I remember putting our Christmas tree up the 5th of December, and that was early. And it'd be in front of Mom's great big window, and so the kids on the school bus, oh, they just thought we were so lucky to get our Christmas tree up so early. But we always had Indian placement students live with us back when the church had, that program. So at Christmas time, Mom would always collect our old toys, our old dolls, and she would pop popcorn and make boxes for all of the little Indian placement students that we had, and we would send them a Christmas box for Christmas. So we knew Christmas was around the corner when Mom started making popcorn, candied popcorn, and collecting our toys. So
did you guys chop down your tree, or did they have them like at the grocery store?
Mom's very favorite kind of tree was a flocked Christmas tree. To this day, I still love flocked Christmas trees. Yep. And I can't remember if we'd go chop them down or not. I think once Kenneth got old enough that he always went and got Mom's Christmas tree, but Mom always had the most gorgeous trees, and they were flocked.
Is the flock the same stuff that you guys would spray on the windows, like?
And Kenneth would always write "Merry Christmas" on our windows backwards.
No, it
was kind of puffy. Flocking is very beautiful. So anyway, it wasn't out of a spray can. It was real flocking.
How do you do real flocking?
Well, you do it with a vacuum cleaner, or you used to, and with water and flocking, you could flock your own tree.
What does the vacuum cleaner do? Like suck off the ashes?
It blows it, I think. It just blew it or something. I don't know. I don't know how it was done because I was younger.
Huh.
But yeah, we always had gorgeous Christmas trees. But we would decorate early because there were parties at our house all the time because we had a large living room. So that was fun. And because we had foster children always living with us, the National Guard, like 2 days before Christmas, they would bring a great big box of toys. When you see the National Guard collecting toys, our family, got a box because we had, the Polsons, the 5 children living with us, plus Stephen Barnett. So, we were a house that they would bring a big box of things. So that was fun. That was back in the day when we always had a Christmas program over at the church. The primary did the nativity, and then Santa Claus always came. We'd sing, "Here Comes Santa Claus," and Santa Claus would come in the cultural hall, and that was back in the day. And so that's what we did Christmas Eve. We didn't ever do the Christmas story, per se, in our own home because it was always done as a ward. And then we'd come home and go to bed, but we couldn't ever get up until 6 o'clock, and we'd have to look and see if Garfield's, our best and favorite next door neighbor's, lights were on. And if it was 6 o'clock, we could get up, and so were Garfield's.
Did you believe in Santa growing up, or was that just kind of were you too young? Your brothers and sisters ruined that for you?
You know what? I don't know when I didn't know that. I don't know when that transition took place. But I knew. Oh, Mom always told us. We have to pay Santa Claus for what you get. Santa Claus is someone, that delivers toys. But aren't we all kind of a Santa Claus when we are giving gifts? But she always. I think we got to choose 3 items or something like that. I don't remember, but she always said, be reasonable because we do have to pay Santa Claus for what. I don't know, that was just the concept that I had, is that, we do have to pay for these things. So.
He's not just this nice man that delivers them for free.
No, I don't think so.
What were your Christmas meals? Do you remember anything that was a tradition eating wise?
Well, one tradition that we had is that we didn't have Christmas stockings, we had Christmas sacks.
Yeah.
So that was just I don't know how that came about, but we just did that. And then for New Year's Eve, we always put our shoes out on the counter, and we basically got the same thing in our shoes for New Year's Eve as we did for Christmas. So there was 2 great holidays right there together, and we'd get the ribbon candy, the hardtack ribbon candy. That was always a favorite Christmas candy. But that was back in the days when you did peanuts too, that you had to crack open. all of the candy that they have nowadays, it's not quite the same, but.
So do you remember a specific moment when maybe your sisters got a present that you didn't, or I don't know, a funny interaction between you and your siblings?
No, I always just loved getting baby dolls. I just loved my dolls. I didn't have a lot, and then plus we gave them to the Indian boxes the next year, so we didn't have a lot of dolls and toys on hand. No, I don't remember any. They probably got the same thing I got. And it was always Mary and Van and I, because we were the three youngest, so I think to buy for the three little girls. And that's what we was referred to as the three little girls. And I don't know, I don't remember them ever getting something that I wanted.
And then, now that you're grown up, talk about some of your favorite Christmas moments with Dad and your family.
I remember our first Christmas together. We were in the college ward together, and they announced that there were guys in jail that weren't spending Christmas, that it was a hard time for them. And so we decided we'd go and sing Christmas carols to them, Frank and I, because we enjoyed singing together. And so we went to the jail and sang to some inmates. And they wrote a poem. In fact, I've got it in our book of the three wise men that thought they were being wise, and how now they wasn't going to be able to spend Christmas at home. But that was our very first Christmas together. So that was our first Christmas as newlyweds. Let's see. We used to love to go down to Mom's after my father passed away. Mom was just at home by herself for Christmas, so we always used to pack up all of our Christmas stuff and go spend Christmas with Mom. And we did that for years until we started having missionaries that would be calling us, and then that tradition ended. I remember one year Les and Julie called, and they said that they had a couple that wanted to come to Utah skiing. And they didn't have a place to stay, but they wondered if, since we was going down to Cedar, if they minded if they came and stayed in our house. So before we left, we had to pack up the van, but I had to make sure my house was clean before these people come and lived in our house for a week.
So you probably left on time that day, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know, but when you know that people are going to have access to your whole house, you want to make sure that it kind of looks like it's presentable. So, you know what? I don't know. We didn't have that extravagant of Christmases, and it was always sports type stuff, rollerblades and stuff for you guys. So I don't know. I guess it just didn't take up a lot of space. Now that you guys are all adults, I can tell you, I've got in my day planner what every one of you guys got for Christmas for the last umpteen years. And I always made sure that you all got the same amount of gifts. And on Christmas morning, I'd just be sick in my stomach if somebody was opening up too many gifts and somebody else was sitting there without, looked like they'd gone a long time without a present to open up. But everybody, basically, as a mother, I made sure that y'all got the same amount of stuff. But I can tell you, I can pull out my day planner and tell you guys what you've gotten for the last 10 years, probably. When I buy it, I just check it off the list. So that was, I don't know if there's ever a mishap, but sometimes I'd get stressed Christmas morning thinking, no, I know they've all got the same amount of stuff, but I don't know. I remember the year that we went down to Cedar and hit a deer. Oh, that was dreadful. Because the alternator wasn't working on the van, and so we didn't have lights or something, and we hit the deer, and the kids were devastated to think that we had just killed one of Santa Claus's deers. And that makes you feel bad. But anyway, so we called the cops. We pulled over and we called the cops, and the cops came. As soon as the cops came, the deer jumped up and ran and jumped the fence, and all was well. But we thought, and then the van worked. The lights worked on the van, and we made it down to Mom's house. So it was almost like a blessing in disguise. Wherever the deer hit, it made the lights work in the van, and we got down to Cedar.
Is that the same van that would honk when you turned left and you couldn't open up any doors?
Yeah, that used to embarrass and humiliate Heidi and Jesse going to junior high. Yes, that was the same van. I remember one year, too, Christmas Eve with Mom, we went over to Parowan to see Van and Mike for Christmas Eve, and there were some deer just right off the exit at Summit, and we told the kids, we got to hurry up and get home because Santa Claus's deers are right there on the side of the road we could see. And they believed us, and that really added to the excitement of Christmas. We could see the deer right off that Summit exit. So that was fun. But it was always fun to be with Mom, and she never went to bed, and she'd always be putting the stickers on you guys' Hot Wheels, or anything that you got. Mom was there helping us. She loved having us come, and it was fun for her and fun for us. Those were amazing years. Bishop Lefevre was just a very generous, kind man to some of the underprivileged families in the ward. And we went to a lot of work. For Christmas, we had the Christmas giving tree, and so what I would do is make up Christmas ornaments. We chose a few families in the ward that was in need, and we would write down the items that they needed on those Christmas ornaments. And the Sisters in Relief Society would just take 1 or 5 or whatever, and then they'd return those items back to me, and then we would give the families wrapping paper and tape, and they would wrap up their own presents. So I remember a year or two having a crib. We used to have the crib for when the grandkids would come in the back bedroom, and I just had that crib full of Christmas things. But that was a fun, special time to see how generous people are and see how appreciative families are. And so yeah, that was.
So were you
that was
there
fun.
to deliver them on Christmas Day, or when would you drop off?
Well, I'd meet them over at Rooms parking lot when they could take the things over, so that it was done without their children knowing it, and just whenever. So yeah, that was a good time.
How was music a big part of your family in Christmas time?
Was it
Or
just
wasn't
Dad that was a singer, or was your
Oh,
family
no.
also into the music?
My dad had a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and we would listen every Saturday night. We listened to Lawrence Welk. That was just what happened in our home.
Is that the TV show, or is that
It was
on
Lawrence
radio?
Welk. Nope, it was on the TV, and we listened to music. So my dad, although he could carry a tune and he had a beautiful voice, but the way that he loved music was to listen to it, and so we always watched Lawrence Welk. And during the Christmas holiday season and all year long, we had records that we listened to. In fact, I remember growing up, we had a stack of 45s, which are the little records, not these size, but the little records. Oh, we had a stack of 45s that we'd play on the phone, well, not the phonograph, but the little recorder. Yeah, the record player. So yeah, we owned a lot of music. And then Marion Van and I, we used to harmonize. We used to sing for weddings, and we'd sing for programs, and we'd sing, just because, it was kind of a novelty. We could sing and carry a tune, and so we'd sing for different things. So yeah, music was a big part of our lives growing up.
Like holiday-wise, did you go out in Christmas Carol?
That was something we did in Mutual. We'd go on a hay wagon Christmas caroling. That was just because we lived amongst farmers, and they had their own hay wagons, and we'd go. So yeah, that was just something that was always done every year. You know what? I wasn't really a very worried mother. Getting you guys rollerblades or snake boards. You guys were always coordinated enough to get you guys a trampoline or to get your rollerblades. I never did worry about you guys breaking your necks. Some parents are concerned with getting their kids certain toys. I wasn't. I just figured you guys would learn how to do it. And you know what? We really didn't have many accidents on the toys that you guys were given. You just picked it up. You was all pretty athletic, and I don't know. I remember one year that was really special, that we decided we'd give you guys rollerblades for Christmas. And Neil and Jeff were talking to Colin Ash, and he was a little bit older than Neil, and anything that Colin liked, that was pretty awesome. So if Colin liked it, you had it made because... So anyway, Neil and Jeff said that they wanted rollerblades for Christmas, and Colin told them, oh, you guys will probably have to share a pair because they're too expensive. So that was fun, because they were each getting their own pair of rollerblades. But for Colin to say, oh, they're pretty expensive, you probably will have to share a pair.
They were that much happier.
So anyway, it was just kind of funny.